Tuberville in specific. And for him to say he doesn't know much about what's going on in the Pentagon, he doesn't have to go to the Pentagon. He could go right down, across the bridge, go to Quantico. Look at the training class of Marine Corps officers. He could go in his home state to any post in his home state and look at the caliber of officers serving and look at the sacrifice they make. And I'm not talking about the sacrifice of carrying arms in a war. I'm talking about the sacrifice of taking families from one post to another, year after year after year.
Hey, it's me, Uncle Ricky. Look, we got to talk about somebody. I've talked about him before, but he's still... I got to say, the only reason I'm talking about him again, because nobody's done anything to stop his reign of stupidity. This guy is... What he's doing is ridiculous, and it's gotten to the point now where his ridiculousness to prove a point, his absurdity, his overreach of his power, being an elected official, he's using his position as a state senator to hold up promotions of senior staff members, officer level promotions and appointments and assignments, to the point now that it is actually not just impeding the personal lives of the people that are on, that are being promoted, it's also impeding the efficient day-to-day routine operation of the United States military across the board. All branches, all organizations within those branches are being affected by Tuberville's refusal to process the promotion of key officers. The Marine Corps does not have a commandant. In other words, there is no official top Marine. The Joint Chiefs of Staff, it has retired or is retiring, and his replacement is an Air Force general that Tuberville is screwing with, the promotion, with the appointment, the approval of the appointment. All of these promotions, because their appointments are created and granted by the Congress of the United States. In other words, they are called officers and gentlemen, even though females are officers. It was always hard for me to call a female sir when I'm looking at a man, and these people are talking about pronouns now, and it's been a mess from the very beginning. It was never dealt with properly, so why not now when we have everybody claiming their own sexual identity, even if that includes making a unique sex for themselves, claiming their own pronouns. We never had the pronoun argument straight to start with. But back to Tuberville. He says he's doing it because the military's position on paying the expenses of people going out of state to seek abortion care or certain reproductive services. And Tuberville doesn't want the military paying for that for active duty members or dependents in some cases. Well, the thing is, the military does have, its own medical care. All the branches have either their own or they have support from another branch. Like the Marine Corps doesn't have its own medical division, but the Navy supplies all of the Marine Corps' medical needs. Everything from doctors, corpsmen, dentists, optometrists, any kind of medical need. All the facilities on the Marine Corps base are manned by Navy personnel. Or it's contracted out to civilians. A lot of times with retirees, they used to use the base for medical services, but now it's been contracted out. And there's also the VA. But back to Tommy Tuberville.
It's kind of building. They're seeing the attack mode right now. All the people who are coming out of the White House, speaking against me, and of course it's a hard topic to get on top of. But we're pro-life. We should be. We're the Republicans. There's a huge percentage of the people that they want to elevate to another star possibly to even a 4-star. By the way, we've already got 44. That's way too many as it is. But there's a lot of them that all they want to do is
check
teach.
Boxes.
Yeah, check boxes. Talk about DEI. Everything is about equity. One thing, Laura, about the military, it's not an equal opportunity employer. I don't care if, as CQ Brown says, I want more black pilots. Well, I'm fine with that. If they're the best, there's no second place in war, okay? We have to have the best. And right now, we are so woke in the military, we're losing recruits right and left. Secretary Del Toro over the Navy, he needs to get to building ships, he needs to get to recruiting, and he needs to get wokeness out of our Navy. We've got people doing poems on aircraft carriers over the loudspeaker. It is absolutely insane of the direction that we're headed in our military.
If anything happens, we can't guarantee that we can deliver 100% or close to top readiness efficiency, because we don't have the right leaders in place. It's not that the people that are there are not, worthy or not or not capable. It's just, it's not their gig. They're temporary. And as long as the term temporary or acting is in front of their name, there is a limitation on what they can do and how they can do it, and how much people are expected to pay attention to them. Because they're not there permanent. It's hard to say, look, these are the top dogs, you got to do what they say, knowing that as soon as one ignorant senator from Alabama takes his thumb off the scale and everything returns back to normal, you're going to have a whole different long-term commander and commander's system to fit into, to make work, to survive in. And this is a question. I mean, it's been the way the military has operated almost since day one, since there was officers and non-coms or non-commissioned officers and enlisted people. And this is how military organizations universally tend to function, and function well in a lot of cases. But Tuberville, in his one-man stunt, his because he's not really getting any support from his fellow Republicans. He's not getting the proper amount of outcry, the proper amount from heat from Democrats or Republicans, remaining in the Senate that have good sense. Son, you're jeopardizing the security of your nation. You're jeopardizing. The military hates to admit that when they don't think that they're in a good spot to defend this country or project the interests of this country in a military manner. But now they're saying, look, Tuberville, you're screwing us up, and if something happens, a lot of what's negative, the negative outcome, if there is to be a negative outcome, is going to be your fault. And what's worse than that is just that Tuberville doesn't care. And that has to make people raise the question of, what is Tuberville's real motivation? Because if he was, the true patriot that he says he is, even though, not the military experience makes you a patriot, Tuberville never served in the military. Tuberville never had any interest in politics. Tuberville only became an Alabama state senator after, a so-so football coaching career at the University of Auburn. And even then, and it doesn't say a lot for the people of Alabama, it's a question of, is he really even a resident of Alabama, or, is he just an inhabitant? Is there a difference? Should there be a difference? Is he, or because if he's just an inhabitant, to use the term loosely, he's just a carpetbagger.
The Constitution requires senators to be, quote, an inhabitant of the state of their election, meaning they actually must own a home there, and it has to be their permanent residence. Tuberville has come under fire recently after reports surfaced of recent sales and purchases of properties in Alabama and in Florida. Here's how the senator is responding to the controversy.
There's a lot of talk about the place you call home. Where do you live, sir? Are you in violation of constitutional state residency requirements at all?
Well, I've lived in Auburn for a long time. I have a home there, and I spend most of my time there. Of course, everybody says we live in Florida. I've had a beach house in Florida, as thousands and thousands of other people do from our state.
Something that the South hates, but now they're holding up this man because he's crying about, you know, the wokeness in the military, and military's paying for abortions, and on and on and on, and you are holding up the promotions of the people that need to be in place to ensure, or at least give us the picture, the imagery of being a secure nation. It's hard to even think that you're anywhere close to being secure when the people that are supposed to be in charge of things militarily and military security and, you know, readiness can't even take their jobs because of Tommy Tuberville. What is his real motivation? I mean, even after a while, to a logical person, even the right to life thing, when you weigh it against national security, if you're the type of patriot that you say you're supposed to be, and that you really love the American people, wouldn't you want to make sure that militarily that they at least have the chance, or at least have the optics of being able to operate efficiently? But no, in the name of pro-life, according to you, in the name of anti-wokeness, according to you, in the name of, you know, protecting the people's interests, when the people are saying, look, we really want some kind of abortion. We're not the country is not anti-abortion. They believe in abortion, which, you know, even if you have limits on the length of time you can get an abortion, they don't believe in these, like, 6-week bans or 12 or 15. You know, they believe in, you know, a couple trimesters. And, you know, most people are comfortable with no abortions in the third trimester. You know, that's if you haven't made up your mind by that time on whether you want to have a kid or not, then, well, maybe you don't even need an option. I don't know. But it's not up to Tuberville to hold up the promotions of all these people, jeopardizing their families, jeopardizing their careers, jeopardizing, outside of the individual loss, the cohesiveness, the efficiency, the ability of our United States military to act in an efficient manner, because he has disrupted the leadership, the chain of command, all over, according to him publicly, over abortion. But you really, how illogical. It's not that the question is illogical, and maybe even perhaps his methods are not illogical up to a certain point. Okay, you had your say, you pulled a little stunt, we got the message, and it's obvious that, you know, one senator is not going to change the military, but is that senator's action going to have a negative effect on the military? And the answer, plain and simply, is yes. But you can't allow one senator to hold the whole United States military hostage. Well, it seems that we've gotten ourselves into another, I guess, conundrum, maybe situation, complexity, common sense versus the Constitution, or how literally can we take the Constitution, or what power do the people have when elected officials go rogue, or, you know, branches of the government go rogue, when they start reflecting their own political and religious and perhaps philosophical ideas over the popular opinion of the people. And when they let their opinions drive them to act in a way that is obviously detrimental to the security of the entire nation. Well, that's it for me, Uncle Ricky. This is End of another episode of Uncle Ricky's House. Until next time, peace out and God bless from Uncle Ricky at Uncle Ricky's.
Is doing is undermining our national security. This is what the Secretary of Defense says. This is what all of the defense experts say. And this is, in fact, I'm sure you've heard the story about the Chinese diplomat who recently was laughing and making fun at his American counterpart because we can't even get our military promotions in line.